everybody, Rose Buddies, D&D friends. Welcome to another month of D&D Community. If this is your first time joining us, we are a monthly tea party talk show where the topic of conversation is always Dungeons and Dragons. Today, specifically, all about spellcasting, which I'm very excited about.
Let's put some spells on you.
Yeah, I'm one of your hosts, Lisa Penrose. I am the Good Witch of this channel and the brand manager for Dungeon Masters Guild. I'm going to point this way. Nope, this way at Celeste.
Hi! Oh my gosh, it's me. Hi, everybody. My name is Celeste Konowich. I am a freelance designer out there in the world of tabletop gaming. I'm also the host and producer and dungeon master for Venture Maidens, an actual play D&D podcast. Yes, that's me. Hello. I'm very excited to be here. Spells are one of my favorite things about Dungeons and Dragons, so I am very excited.
Huzzah!
I am Hannah Rose on the internets at Wild Rose Mage. I do writing, editing, occasional streaming of Dungeons and Dragons and various nerdy things. And crap, what else? What did everybody else say? Spells! Yes, I love spells. I love writing spells. I love casting spells.
But half of this show is the tea.
Yeah.
We are drinking a really metal sounding tea today.
Yeah, Death's Flower, which I also voted for in the polls. So
I also
just
voted
to look,
for Death's Flower.
Yeah, just to peek under the kilt there. I also voted for this, so I am very excited.
I saved it until just this minute to taste.
Me too.
Okay, I have a little bit of room, so I kind of want to try to pour my tea so you can see what color it is.
Oh my god, yeah, it's like the color of blood. Oh my god.
It's like a
there
beautiful
go.
It was like a little bit rose.
Blood.
It's a little bit on my keyboard. Love it.
Wow. Aesthetic 10 out of 10.
Oh my
Loving
gosh.
It.
Taste 10 out of 10, honestly.
I don't know if either of you or anyone in chat has had these like Chinese candies before. They're basically like super dried plums with like some like powdered like sour stuff on the outside, and this tastes exactly like those.
Whoa.
So yummy.
No, I haven't had those, but this is delightful. I like, there's a sour note on the end of this.
The grapefruit.
Probably, and like maybe with the hibiscus is making a really interesting
just a
combo.
Little bit.
It's very energizing.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. That like brightness to it. This tea is by our favorite brewer here in Seattle, who makes a bunch of like geeky and fandom inspired teas called Friday Afternoon Tea. But this particular tea is actually not blended by Friday, but a mini Friday teacup.
I know, this is, oh my gosh, Teacup is clearly very talented. This is the first Teacup blend I've tasted, but actually, congratulations.
Is it the first Teacup blend
you tasted? Did we do another one? Friday, you're in the chat. Let us know.
Yeah.
Have we tried a Teacup before?
Teacup made their first blend at like 4 years old. They are a tea prodigy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People with amazing talents.
I know. Wow.
And if there are any critters in the audience, this tea was inspired by Caduceus Clay, our favorite spooky brave cleric. No dead people were in the making of this tea, just cave-aged puera and hibiscus flower and grapefruit peel.
Wow. This is delicious. Is this is this a black tea base or
puera? Yeah, it's
aged black tea.
It's so floral in a really just like smooth way, and that little pop of grapefruit.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have guessed this was just a black tea. Tasting it, it is so floral and bright.
Mm-hmm. The smell is like just really juicy smelling, which I really love. I took the strainer out of my teapot, but I wish I'd kept it because I saw in the description that it gets really like earthy and funky, probably from that aged black tea taking over. So I'm probably gonna do a longer steep of this next.
Back in then. I will let you know. I will give you a funk update.
Yes, funk update.
A funk update. Extremely funky.
Everyone in chat, let us know what you are drinking as part of our tea party.
Yes.
And if you are really intrigued by Death's Flower and Friday tea in general, we are doing a giveaway. If I do this right, this is our first time hosting our broadcasting from my channel. So this is a learning experience for us all. You are here for, let's see, if I do giveaway open. All right.
Yay!
Yeah. So if you'd like to enter our giveaway, it is hashtag tea time in the chat. And you will get a delicious sampler from Friday Afternoon Tea that includes Death's Flower. And then you can choose some teas that you want to try from the website fridaytea.com.
Oh, folks in the chat are asking, we are using a site called Web Captioner, which is a
Thank
free
you,
site.
Dragon.
Yeah, a free site that you can use. It's super easy to incorporate on any of your streams, so definitely check it out. It's an ongoing program, so they're always making updates and getting better and making it more accessible. So definitely check out Web Captioner.
Yeah, Web Captioner tries its best. Sometimes it adds entertainment value.
Yes, it does. Yes, especially when you're talking about role-playing games, which have lots of interesting words in them. So, oh yeah.
Web Captioner is like, this is close enough.
It's like, oh, you dragoon. Yes, good. Perfect. Truly entertaining. Oh my gosh.
This tea's so yummy. It feels like a little magical potion.
It really does. Yeah.
It looks like a little magical potion. I know we're talking about spells today, but what do you think the effect of this potion is?
Ooh, it's so bright. I feel like, although it's called Death's Flower, but I feel like it's very lively.
Maybe it's like a death ward component, or Spare the Dying, something along those lines, where it's like, a cleric spell that has, it is a necromancy thing, but it's to ward off death. I can definitely see that.
Not all grave clerics have to be spooky and black.
No, they don't.
Just make delicious tea.
Death's Flower reminds me of those, I forget what they're called, but they're plants that look like dried up, super dead flowers. But as soon as you water them, they open up again.
Whoa.
I feel like maybe it's almost like you could pour it on a corpse and cast Speak with Dead. Just bring it back to life for a little bit.
It's like goth rose, and I'm here for it, Jezebel. Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is a very goth rosy tea. So good.
Oh, Teacup says that's what they were going for.
Oh,
Man,
really?
Both Teacup,
that's awesome.
Both Teacup and Friday make like these super amazing blends, so you can just taste the words in them.
Yes. Oh man. Should we start talking about some D&D today? Yeah. Have you all been playing any D&D lately? That's been really exciting. Tell me about it.
Gosh, I have just been so focused on moving. I've talked about it a lot online, so some folks might know I just moved into a house, my first house. So I haven't gotten to play as many games, but this weekend I'm playing in an All Artificers game with D&D Beyond. So I'm excited to get my dice on.
Yes. What about you, Hannah? Have you been playing some D&D?
Yeah, we have a weekly game that's been super fun, and I will actually talk about it a little when we talk about spells, because I've made some of my own spells for my character.
Ooh, that's
and
fun.
Last week we finished off a black dragon as it was trying to run away and managed to levitate the head. Let's see, I think we're 6th level, but there were 3 gray renders, which are all CR12, and we managed to take off the head and levitate the head and escape from them. It was very dramatic.
Why did you levitate the head?
Yeah, what is it?
Just for cool factor?
We wanted the proof for the person who commissioned us to do the job, essentially.
Oh, boy.
We didn't, go check in with her. We just ended up in this swamp, killed the dragon, the horned bandit, and the gray renders were our monk I cast haste on the monk. The monk caught up with him, knocked him out.
Yeah.
But he was unconscious, and the gray renders came up and tried to carry him away. And so I cast magic missile and it cut off his head.
Oh my gosh.
And then our Tempest Cleric cast Fog Cloud, and our Artificer, the Tempest Cleric, moved the head away, and our Barbarian Rogue multi-class tanked 100 damage. It was wild.
Wow. Spells.
Yeah,
y'all.
That's a bunch of really cool combo moves of spells. It reminds me of an Avengers movie. all those
Yeah.
combinations.
Yeah.
Tell us, do you have any awesome stories of like really clutch moments with spellcasting?
Oh, I think probably the most recent one where it was so great. So we were on the Venture Maintenance channel. We just finished a playthrough of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. So as you can imagine, that campaign is all running through hell. And I won't do specific spoilers, but there is at one point an opportunity to get a helmet that lets you cast Dominate Monster, which is a very high level spell for theoretically lower level PCs. So my wizard character got this helmet, and it was a whole situation where a contract with the devil. She had been hunting down her whole life, and like there were 3 charges on the Dominate Monster spell. And I tried it. That was my first 3 rounds of combat. I tried it. No, she made the save. I tried it a second time. No, she made the save. The 3rd time, the last charge on that helmet, I got the Dominate Monster spell off, and this devil came back under her control. And it was so satisfying because, there some spells like that, it's so like it's all or nothing, if they make that save. But if you hit it, wow, is that nice?
Satisfying moment.
Yeah, so being able to shut down that enemy completely was very cool. So that was probably my most recent shiny spell moment.
What about you, Lisa? Any clutch spell casting in your
The
games?
one that jumps out the most in my head also happened in Hell, but this was way before Descent into Avernus. I was playing in
before Hell was cool.
Before Hell was cool. Or hot? Whatever. I played a campaign that traveled through all the different levels of Hell. And there were also like the 7 deadly sins dispersed throughout Hell. Anyway, that part's not important. We were like level 18, really high level, but not quite level 20. And our party had my character Mercy, who's a sorceress, and also a really, really high level paladin who had like a holy avenger on him, like the most badass paladin ever. And Mercy is a tiefling who doesn't know her origins. And we came across, I think, a pit fiend who suggested that he knew Mercy's origins or that he was related to Mercy. And of course, seeing this pit fiend, our paladin with like his holy avenger starts like stomping towards this pit fiend to like one-on-one this pit fiend.
Pandora approves.
And Mercy, I'm like, no, at the table, like, stop. I want to talk to this devil. And Mercy leaps in front, slams her staff down, and casts, I forget the spell, whether maybe it was like a cube of force to protect the devil. And the DM described it like this shimmering shield surrounds Mercy and this pit fiend while the paladin's holy avenger strikes it. And it was sort of like that clash of 2 powers. Meanwhile, the rest of the party is standing there like, this is between the 2 of you.
Yeah, like you deal with that. Okay.
It was like the coolest like narrative visual like movie moment in one of my D&D games.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I also just generally love to tell the story of when I was running D&D 3.5, and Wish spell was a little bit more powerful, if you can imagine that, in 3.5, because it's like not only could you just go back a minute, you could change one thing, like no holds barred about the world or the game. So a Wish spell ended up completely banishing this like invading race of enemies that was going to like take over the plane, and like that wish was gone, and I was like, that's my entire campaign. Oh boy. And so I went and like sat outside like, for like 10 minutes. I was like, okay, all right. And then the whole campaign changed in a new direction because of that spell. So which was granted to them by Lolf, like as a thing at the beginning. So it was very satisfying, not in the moment, but out looking back, I was like, wow. Just the wild possibilities that can come up when you are talking about, those 9th level, epic level spells. Seeing those in action is always such an amazing time.
Do you have any other clutch spell moments? I know you just mentioned some crazy dragon fighting ones,
well,
Hannah.
Those weren't... I guess the magic missile was my spell, but yes, from this campaign, I desperately want to talk about this moment. because this is one of my homebrew spells. So I am playing a Chronergy wizard from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount,
Cool.
although we're playing in our own setting, not in Exandria. And there were some really cool Chronergy timey-wimey spells, but I wanted some more because I like to really lean into that flavor. And this is, what my character does with her spell casting. So I made a spell called Echoes of the Past, where I can, it's a first level spell. As an action, I touch an object and can see a moment associated with it. And it prioritizes moments that are pivotal in time or have strong emotions associated with them. Um, my GM and I have discussed that like if it's at a higher level, I might be able to see further back in time. So it's a very like work with the DM spell. But it's super fun. My character's name is Echo, so it worked out beautifully there. And we were we were exploring this really cool ship, and we came up against a combination locked door because it was a gambling, essentially entire like floating casino. Um, and we're like, okay, how are we going to find the combination for this door? Everybody on this ship is a ghost. And one of my party members was like, Echo, can you do the thing where you can see something that happened in the past? And I hadn't even thought of this. The DM hadn't thought of this. So I touched the door and cast this and saw the captain opening the safe. And it was just so fun to have that like utility spell in an unexpected way that nobody had planned for that solved a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like divination spells like that.
Yeah.
Especially like detect thoughts or anything where you can kind of see into the past and use that for the present.
Yeah, I guess on that we could talk about too. The schools of magic, I think, are always a really interesting thing to talk about, and how spells are divided up and how they have been in the past. So you mentioned divination magic. Hannah, do you have a specific type of like maybe spells that you generally find yourself always picking for your characters, or maybe even designing?
Oh gosh. I like designing magic items. I would say I haven't designed that many spells. Right now, I'm just focused on this Chronergy character. So if anyone is in chat, we're getting slightly higher level. I have a couple homebrew spells that are first and second level. If anyone in chat has an idea for higher level time themed spells, please let me know and I might homebrew them up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when you're messing with time and stuff, that becomes so much fun. Lisa, do you have a favorite type of spell to design for or grab?
I've actually not designed a lot of spells, but I'm
Oh.
always very drawn to divination magic, abjuration.
Mm.
I feel like the easiest, although maybe it's not the easiest to balance, I don't know, but I feel like the easiest to design would be like an evocation spell.
Yeah.
Do something, have some cool
Sure.
flavor, but like just
But
cause
there's
some
already
damage.
so many evocation spells.
Mhm.
That's the thing. Classes, spellcasting schools like divination and abjuration need more love.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
agree.
Definitely. I think.
I did. Oh,
Oh no, go for it.
I did actually a spell I fiddled with in one of my previous campaigns. I was playing a water genasi cleric, and clerics get flame strike, but obviously that was not my character's theme at all. So I made a spell called Water Strike, in which you dump like 300 gallons of radiant water on an enemy. It was just like,
Smush
take
someone.
a bath, take a
Take a
bath.
bath.
Evil, you stink.
And so it does, instead of fire damage and radiant damage, it does bludgeoning damage and radiant damage because you're dropping a ton of water on them.
Ooh,
Yeah.
DK the friend has a suggestion for you.
Ooh.
To steal something from Ms. Marvel, maybe something that lets you borrow mass or strength from your future self.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh, that could be interesting. Definitely the one of the themes of Chronergy, the underlying kind of the underpinnings is the idea of possibility. So you can do spells that give you advantage on a check, or you can use an ability called chronal shift that lets you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you, forces them to re-roll an attack roll ability check or saving throw. And one of the other things we've homebrewed is this ability called chronal decay, where I can use that more than twice, because I can use it twice per long rest, which is good, but it doesn't ever increase. So I can push farther and use it again, help my allies reroll, force an enemy to reroll a crit, but there are possible consequences. So I roll on a table, and if I roll low, good things can happen. If I roll high, bad things can happen. And as I do it more and more, I add the number of times I've used it, so it's more likely to have bad things. Anyway, I'm really enjoying that.
That's really fun. Magpie Joyful says, a spell to literally punch someone into next Thursday.
Always Thursday.
Ooh.
It doesn't matter what day of the week is now, but that's the day. The most magical
Always
day
Thursday.
Thursday.
I think I'd have to call that spell, like, is it Thursday yet?
Is it Thursday yet?
That's a great one.
Oh my gosh. So fun.
So I actually wanted to talk a little bit about a very particular type of spell casting, which is cursing folks, which I saw, Hannah, you were talking to somebody on Twitter.
Yeah, Leon Barilio made a post on Twitter about how remove curse is kind of just like a snap your fingers, okay, it's gone.
Yeah.
But when you think about curses in stories and fairy tales and adventures, it's a much bigger deal. It's something you have to go through a process to remove, and it's something that is often story related, right? Related to your character. You've been cursed to, you know, to be weak or to be transformed until you realize something about yourself or somebody else or the world. So their idea was that, you know, you have to assemble these components or do something to break the curse. It's not just casting a spell. And I think that it should be a ritual, at least like a 10-minute casting time, something that the party can participate in.
Yeah.
And you know, bring in the story.
Curses should definitely be more weighty. I mean, like a little curse, I feel like I could understand being a remove curse, but like a big curse, you shouldn't be able to just go hire someone to lift it.
Just take this
from
curse
you.
off of me, please.
I was taking a look at Dungeon Masters Guild supplements about spellcasting, and one that really intrigued me, I'll paste the link in chat, was called Ritual Curses. And it reminded me of your conversation, because those curses have like really big effects. It's something like you might get -15 like to hit with a sword or something like that. But it takes a lot to cast that curse. They take hours to cast, and if your concentration breaks while you're casting them, the curse does not enact, and it has all sorts of like rare, expensive ingredients. And I feel like as a dungeon master, that's really inspiring, because you could make a whole section of your campaign about fetching all of these different ingredients to cast this curse and like bring down this really powerful foe so that they're actually a level at which you could beat. But at the beginning, it talks about getting rid of these curses, and while it mentioned there's more ways, specific ways to get rid of specific curses that they list, you could also just cast remove curse. And I was like, but if you go through all the steps, like travel across the country to find a component that you don't want to just cast remove curse and get rid of it. So it reminded me a lot of your conversation that you had on Twitter.
Yeah. I can definitely also see too, you know, helping out like an NPC or someone having to fetch these incredibly rare ingredients. Like, I need the heart of a silver dragon to undo the curse on the young lord of this land. Like, what a cool quest that would be to take up. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, did I lose you all? I think
No, sorry. No, we've got you. Are you okay, Hannah?
Sorry, my internet's being a little laggy.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, all of
wow.
Seattle's internet.
Oh no. Yeah, so
Oh,
bear with
no.
us. It's just a time delay effect.
The
The
world
lag is just time delay.
the world heard
Oh
us
my
talking
gosh.
about magic and was like, no, they're too
Yeah.
powerful.
It's like time spells. Psh, let me show you some time magic internet attack. Oh my
There
gosh.
were a couple other pretty cool DMs Guild supplements I wanted to shout out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of spell compendiums on Dungeon Masters Guild.
Ah.
There's like an Elminster's Guide, and I think there's like a Blackstaff's Tome that have a bajillion spells in them. But I actually have a soft spot for like these little niche spell things. So there's one called the Modern Wizard's Guide to Divination Magic. And since I talked about how much I like divination magic, it's probably no surprise that I thought that one was really cool. I'm going to paste the link in chat also. Boop. And one of my favorite spells to cast, especially in combat, when I feel like everyone else has got it and I just want to get some more story out of this combat, is Detect Thoughts. And I feel like a lot of these spells are like detect thoughts, but hyper specific. So in kind of getting exactly the information that you want. So for example, there's one called Discover Ambition. And
I
if someone
like that
fails
a
a wisdom
lot.
saving throw, you can understand what like one of their secret desires is. So the example says, for example, if you target a guard captain, you may learn that she desires to one day overthrow the Duke. And in your vision, you see her dressed in the ducal costume with the just slain Duke at her feet.
Oh my gosh.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I also I love the cover for this, how it is like that tarot card style
Yeah,
for
it's
divination.
very Rider-Waite style.
so
The art
cool.
in all of these persons Henry Bardwell is the I think
Everyone's saying in chat they need to cast Discover Ambition on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Or like Discover Destiny. That would be very cool.
Yeah,
Ooh,
let's
yeah.
skip that career quiz thing that
Yeah.
all of our
Just-
counselors
the
made us do.
counselor's just casting
just-
Discover Ambition.
I don't know. I feel like that's more discover how you should serve capitalism.
Yeah,
but...
I need a locate ambition spell before I even cast discover. So there are this is my quest, my multi-stage quest.
Another spell I really liked was Memory of an Injury. So basically you cast it and you can see how someone was wounded, and it's basically like a locate creature, specifically for the creature that caused that injury. I just feel like there's like these really cool spells that would be useful in a lot of situations actually, but they're a little more niche than Detect Thoughts.
Yeah. Man, I wish there was something like this. Have you all found something like this for necromancy in particular? Because I feel like necromancy definitely needs some more love.
Yeah, more than just like necrotic damage and raising dead stuff,
yeah.
raising dead minions.
Gosh,
Whoa, DK the friend and the Willy Boo were like, yeah,
yes,
necromancy.
necromancy, please. Oh, the Willy Boo made one. Let us know what it's called so we can talk about it.
Yeah. Send, if you send me the link in a DM, I'll paste it so that we can, I think Moobot will probably delete it if you try to paste it.
Yeah. Necromancy, I also feel like illusion kind of needs a glow up. Because I feel like in this, right now, how illusion magic is balanced, it's really hard to be an illusion specific wizard at higher levels because so many creatures have true sight or the ability to see through illusions. So I'd be really interested in I was actually just started thinking about making an illusionist like subclass option and being like, what if there were ways to subvert true sight or things like that. So
maybe
illusion,
even if a creature has true sight, it's still against your spell save DC basically, so it's not like guaranteed, but
yeah.
Convincing illusion.
Ooh, I love the title of the Willy Boo's supplement, which is called Necromancy Can Be Good.
Yay!
Pasted that in the chat for everybody.
That is the moral today. Death's flower, necromancy good, beauty and death.
Caroline the Geek says powerful enough illusions almost become real. That's actually the capstone for the illusion wizard. You can make your spell real.
It's like It's like the magical paints, Nolzur's marvelous pigments.
Oh gosh, that is such a cool item.
Are you writing this down, Celeste?
Yes, I am. I'm making bullet point. Hannah, let's do it.
That reminds me of another clutch spellcasting moment. I was playing an illusion wizard, and I forget, we met the big bad, and they were like really, really powerful, and I ended up just creating the illusion of like a lead box, a solid lead cube around them.
Ooh,
and we had like this badass monologue moment, and then I'm like, bam, it's real. And they were just, I basically like Han Solo'd them in lead, and they couldn't cast any spells.
Oh, we're getting miming.
Yeah.
Hannah. Oh wow, welcome to our tea party. We have a mime.
That every good tea party needs. This is the mime segment.
The
Lisa,
best stream on the internet, folks.
You talking about divination spells reminded me of another incredibly clutch, probably the most clutch spellcasting moment I've ever had, if we don't mind one more story.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
In the first campaign I ever played in, I was playing a ranger, and you don't get a ton of, it was 3.5, you don't get a ton of spells as a ranger, but one of the spells I had access to was augury.
Ooh,
and
yes.
I took that spell and I was like, I've never cast this spell before, I should just like cast it for fun. And we were just in our base, essentially castle or fortress, and I was about to take a long rest, so I was like, I have spell slots, I'll just cast it for fun. And I cast augury, and all of a sudden I got woe, which is the bad result.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell? We're about to go to bed, and in the next 30 minutes something really bad is gonna happen.
Oh, no.
And then I like ran downstairs and into my party members' rooms, and it turned out that our allies, the lovely guests we had in our castle, had taken a job to assassinate us. And so I had just this little heads up that probably saved all our lives, because the fight was still really bad. And I was not expecting this. The DM was not expecting this. So most clutch augury.
Oh, that just made for an amazing session, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, it was also incredibly emotional, and my character ended up giving like a speech and basically sobbing, because these people they've been our allies. They were the party of an NPC we had adventured with who ended up dying, and my character, who was like, you shouldn't be at our party, we don't need you here, was like, oh crap, I think I really liked that guy, liked that guy, and he died, and I need to try to bring him back even though there's no resurrection in this world. And it was incredibly emotional.
Wow.
As a sidebar, I am buying this necromancy thing from Willie right now. This looks awesome. Yes, I just dead things. I think I've talked about this often, but wizard is my absolute favorite class to play in Dungeons and Dragons. So anytime I find new spells or options, I love it. Some people just, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a wizard my whole life, and I love it. I want to cast all those spells.
Sorcerer for life.
Sorcerer for life. Yep. Oh, see, yeah, we're chaos.
Books are for nerds.
Hey, nerds are cool.
Nerds are cool. Books are for nerds, and would you share some of those books?
Yeah.
Can I have some?
Because I feel like wizard aligns with my personality, because I feel like I've had to work very hard to be good at things my whole life. So I really relate to wizards having to spend so much time studying to make things happen. So
Hannah, do you have a favorite casting class?
Ooh, yeah.
I hadn't played a druid for a really long time, and then I started playing druids and completely fell in love with them. My other character I play regularly is a goblin gardener druid. And druid spells are really fun.
A gardener.
Yeah. They have a little watering can and a wooden rake that they can cast shillelagh on. And
that's
so much fun.
Oh my god, shillelagh rake.
Yeah, it's so good. So little
cute.
thorns come out of it when they cast shillelagh. And they have a little trowel, which is now silvered, that's like functionally a dagger. It's very fun. Caroline the Geek is in that campaign.
Oh,
Uh,
that's adorable. I also
Mhm.
like that we have, I think, like the three, like int, wisdom, and charisma favorite casting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Represented.
I mean,
Oh,
in real life,
wow.
I am also probably a wizard, but druid just has so many options, so it's really fun.
I mean, in real life, I'm probably a disaster bard, let's be honest. Or a warlock because I frequently sell my soul health and time to make things. So
That's
relate to warlock.
that's so funny
Yeah.
because in real life I'm probably a druid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I
Lands.
don't garden. I don't have the like mental headspace to learn gardening and be good at it. So playing a druid is really fun because I get to pretend I can do all those things.
Did we want to try to make a spell together?
Yes, Chad has had
Ooh.
so many incredible ideas.
I know.
So I want to make a spell together and take some suggestions from Chad.
Ooh,
Who
yeah.
here has never homebrewed a spell before and totally like prepped ideas ahead of time because she was nervous? That was me.
Is it Lisa?
Yeah. Because I've never homebrewed a spell.
Oh my gosh.
Or made my own. Yeah, I've made a class for a spellcaster, but I haven't made like actual spells.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, Willy
I
Boo
love
says,
making
Lisa, you're
spells.
gonna do great.
You are
Thank
gonna
you.
do great. I think making spells is. I'm putting my hair up. We're about to make a spell. I think it's shockingly easy. Spells are one of my favorite things to design, just in general, because what's really great about when I start designing spells, I
well,
just always
putting
go
my hair
and
up.
yeah, look at the spells that exist and kind of shop around and find like a group of spells that do something you want, and then figure out how to
Yeah.
combine those abilities in a meaningful way. to
And
make
that helps you
something new.
balance it too.
Yeah.
Even if the spell is different, having something to compare it to.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of spell do we want to make? Do we want to start with School of Magic? Do we want to start with a level? Do we want just an idea? So chat, throw out some ideas of a spell you want
Yeah.
us to. What do you want it to do?
We have
Just
talked a
stare
lot
at
about
chat.
divination spells.
Yeah, and necromancy. We could try to make a
Mhm.
good necromancy spell.
Ooh.
Good.
I'm always usually people do this as a class, but I've always been really interested in the concept of blood magic in D&D
Oh,
and
yeah.
basically using your hit points as a resource. Usually
Yeah.
people make classes. Often I feel like it's a sorcerer class that ends up doing blood magic, but I feel like it could be a type of spell, something anyone can kind of partake in. I feel like it would probably fall into the necromancy school.
Yeah, definitely. So, like using your life to fuel things, or we also have a suggestion, something involving either tea or cats from Key
Yeah,
Squared.
On
That
theme.
is brand.
Not wrong.
I love that branding.
Do we want to make a spell called Death's Flower?
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about some ideas already, but that was as a magic item.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, immediately hearing that, I'm thinking of making something along the lines of like Goodberry. But perhaps you do have to like summon it from your own body or life force, and like these little, what if it's like fungal mushrooms that grow on your body that people can eat to restore
Ew, I love
hit
it.
points? Yeah, so you grow them from your own like blood or body. Ooh, that's
Oh,
gross.
Blood
Do we want to do
shrooms.
that? Sorry, I also CW, me as a person, body horror, just everything I do.
I've met your goblin. Gross AF.
Death
Yeah.
Flower.
I love gross little.
Is this a transmutation spell?
Yeah, so Goodberry would be transmutation. So I mean that kind of makes sense. Yeah, turning your own life force into something. How do we feel about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So material components, it has to be your own blood or a drop of blood from a willing creature.
I feel like it should be your own. Like you're
Yeah.
making a
Of
sacrifice.
the spellcasters.
So then you're kind of
blood.
maybe you're casting it on yourself.
Yeah.
That'd
be your
so
target?
verbal, somatic, material.
Yeah,
Spellcaster's
definitely
blood.
kind of pulling up the other Goodberry to
And
look
is
at how
it
that goes.
making like a set of these mushrooms, then the mushrooms do something?
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. So instead of just summoning something from the ether that people can eat to restore it, it's like you pulling some of your own life force. So probably the mushrooms or the Death's Flower mushroom that you grow should probably do more healing than a good berry, since there's going to be some
What
kind
if
of
you
cost.
have some control over it? Like if you sacrifice more of your hit points, you are then that's how much healing the mushrooms
Yeah,
do.
like you sacrifice a 1d8 hit points, or maybe you can. How do you choose? You could do like 1d8, 2d8, and then that's how much
Ooh,
healing
what
they do.
if you can choose a like basically you're getting to roll your hit die, but it's not a short rest, and the number you get.
But that would make it more powerful for like druids or paladins or whatever than wizards.
I guess it depends on whose spellcasting list this is on.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like cleric, druid. Oh, go ahead, Celeste.
I think we shouldn't put it on the druid cleric spell list, because this is giving wizards an option to do something similar that they don't have. So I would give it to wizards, bards, sorcerers, maybe. So it gives them sort of a dark option to, you know, the anti-good berry.
I think bards are d8 hit dice.
Yeah, bards are d8.
Sorcerers are d6, wizards are d4.
No,
wizards are
d6 now.
Wizards are d6.
Yeah, we're out of the 3.5 days when wizards just got...
When wizards
so
had
destroyed.
1 hit point. A hit point as a treat.
You're like, you're okay, 1 hit point, don't get hit.
Sorry for the noise.
Yeah.
So there is some like you do want it to be kind of like equally balanced. So it could be we choose a die, but what you sacrifice is your hit die, or then is it giving wizards more of an advantage?
I think it should be a set die like 1d8, but you choose the number of dice you roll.
Mm-hmm.
So you could choose whether it's 1d8 or 2d8.
Well, you could that way you could have it level up. Like a spell, so you know if it's a first level spell, you know at higher levels you can use an additional d8 or whatever.
But you're already sacrificing a resource, which is your hit points, so you also have to cast it at a higher level.
Yeah,
I feel like use a number of dice up to like your intelligence modifier or whatever your spellcasting modifier.
I say up to your level. Then it's basically like treating it like a hit die.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, there
so
we
you
go.
could sacrifice gamble and sacrifice a bunch of your hit points to like make a really powerful Death's Flower.
D8 up to your level. Does it make a single flower?
I feel like that's easiest, and we don't have to deal with like how they split up hit points or anything.
I love it. It's like growing a potion out of your body.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Is it an action to cast?
Yeah, probably. What would good berry be?
Good berry is an action.
Yeah.
Self.
I feel like it would be too powerful as like a bonus action.
Creature, can you consume the flower?
Yeah, I think you have to eat it.
Super gross, but yeah.
Yeah. I grew this for you.
The only other type of action that I would throw this out as, only for flavor, is what if it were a reaction to taking damage? And that like that's like because you're actually like bleeding and stuff.
Oh, that you can make it when you're bleeding?
I think that might make it a little bit too specific. Because it might be nice to be able to use this outside of combat also as like a quick healing option. I don't know. What do we
Well, you could also like, I don't know, use a dagger and like cut yourself. But you're right. I think that makes it too complicated. Let's just keep it as an action.
Flower.
Caroline the Geek wants to know if it's a flower or a mushroom or both.
I think it's probably a mushroom called Death's Flower.
Yeah, like maybe it has like lots of little like creepy things that look like creepy
like little flower petals. Oh my gosh, there are so many people. Go to Google and find a creepy mush.
Creepy mushrooms are really creepy, so be careful. There's some that look like they're bleeding.
Oh my gosh,
that's probably what this looks like.
If you're scared of body horror, don't look at mushrooms. They're alien. Mushrooms and everything under the ocean.
Oh my gosh, did you see what Friday just said?
What?
So the fun thing about fungusy aged tea is that there's a style called golden flowers, but the flowers are actually little mushroom fruiting bodies.
This is perfect.
This is perfect.
This is secretly perfect. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
Friday, yes, I do want this as gross as possible. Yes. Very cool. And then
How long do you get to keep the flower?
Yeah, I think the mushroom would lose their potency
I
if they
feel
haven't
like-
been consumed in 24 hours.
That, or if you
That's
cast it
rough.
again,
Oh, you can only have
like maybe you can only
Yeah, you
have
can-
one flower at a time.
have one flower at a time. If you
Jess, am I going to be
cast-
scared if I click on this link you put in chat?
I'm
gonna click on it.
I'm
Oh, okay. No, this is cute.
Oh,
any existing flowers dissolve in a pool of blood?
Ooh, yeah.
yes.
But
'Cause
I feel like
Mhm.
flavor-wise, if this like pool of blood soaks into the ground, a flower will grow from it.
Oh, I like that.
Love that. Oh, that's such a cute little flower. It looks like cookie dough. It looks like it's made out of little cookie doughs.
I want cookie dough.
Oh no, you just reminded me of the cookies you made. Oh no, those were
Cookies.
Celeste made me
I want
cookies,
cookie
and
dough.
it's like dangerous. We hid them from ourselves last night
Oh
because
my
we were like, we
God.
can't see them. If we see them, we will eat them.
I gave you all of them. 'cause
I
knew
know.
would
Why
eat
did you
them.
do that?
Yeah. Yeah. What's it taste like? That is a very important question, the Willy Boo.
Oh.
Chat, tell us. Throw out some words. What does this taste like? I think it probably maybe doesn't taste as gross as it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's be.
Maybe-
Does it
nice.
taste like
Maybe
this
it tastes
tea?
like tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it grapefruity? Is it funky grapefruit?
Hibiscus.
like funky and citrusy?
Yeah. Yes.
Delicious. Gonna keep. I have a little tea.
I'm glad
I really like
Hannah
this
is being the
spell,
responsible one and
I know,
actually like
and
writing
actually
this
doing
spell
it.
down so we
I'm
can
just
maybe
looking
share
at
this on
pictures of
Twitter
mushrooms.
later.
Yes, I will write this up and share this on Twitter. But remind me if I do not share it,
Okay.
because actually writing it up in formal language is the hard part.
Yeah. I'm just really excited. Yeah, necromancy having a healing option.
Ooh, yeah, you decide what the flower tastes like. I like that, Caroline.
Yeah. Oh yeah, unique to the caster. What since I guess
What
you
does my
grew
blood
it
taste
from your
like?
life force. What does your life force taste like?
Ooh, Magpie Joyful says this would be an interesting component for casting Breaking a Curse to tie into the earlier conversation. I like that.
yeah.
Ooh.
Also,
Grinning Gig says it tastes like cauliflower.
That
Boo,
like
no.
that's like I really like cauliflower, but that sounds like
Mm.
creepy to me.
Yeah.
If someone's blood tasted like cauliflower, apparently creepier than just eating someone's blood in mushroom
Blood
form.
mushroom.
In general,
Buy that.
somehow made it creepier. Grinning Greg,
Uh,
cherries. Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, I like that, Sylvius. It tastes different depending on who's eating it. Yeah.
Ooh,
Cherries from Benedutch. That's a good,
I'd like that. That somehow.
because it's also that same kind of color, that dark cherry
Yeah.
color. Because I also imagine eating it kind of stains your mouth too.
Your tongue
Love
gets red.
Yeah, like a tanniny sort of Merlot. I think mine would taste like Merlot.
I think your blood just tastes like Merlot.
Oh snap!
Called out. This is the real tea.
Stay hydrated. However you
TK
can.
says Mountain Dew code red.
Doesn't
Whoa.
alcohol dehydrate you?
What? Sorry, I don't understand.
Those individual words make sense, but that combination is strange.
I'm sorry. I don't cast comprehend languages. No. Chardonnay. Now that would be a nice, delicate mushroom, buttery, light.
I feel like this tea would complement Chardonnay really well.
Ooh, interesting. This tea would make like a really good glaze on something. Honestly.
Brew it really strong.
Well, we have 11 minutes left. Should we
my God, when
take
did that
some
happen?
Q&A?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. Boo, boo, boo. Transition
Uh.
screen. Look at these cute little jelly cubes.
Whoa, jellies.
So cute. All right, chat. You know the rules. No existential questions. But aside from that, ask us questions about spellcasting, about D&D in general, about tea, and we will try our best to answer.
Friday said they're baking a lemon pound cake with death's flower glaze.
Oh, this would
lemon,
be so
oh my God.
good
And lemon
with
pound
lemon
cake is
pound
my
cake.
favorite. Yes, this would be amazing. Wow.
Brockset
Wow.
wants to know suggestions for artists wanting to break into the RPG art field. Oh, I mean,
Ooh.
none of us are RPG artists,
Yeah.
but we have worked on we have worked with RPG artists.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say in general, yeah, finding some artists who would like to help you, and also please don't barrage people and be like, please help me and give me questions, because most artists are really overworked. So if you can find somebody to talk to in a friendly setting, that's always great. Some general advice I've heard is when you do start, making art and promoting it, making sure when you share images, that they're lower quality images and that they always have a watermark or your
Logo,
name on them,
yeah.
because unfortunately, you got to put your name out there, you got to share your stuff to get some attention, but the internet is a place where people do like to take things out of context. So just making sure you're protected, and that everything is well marked, making sure you don't share the high quality images, keeping those just to send to your clients, is super duper important.
I mean, follow some artists that you like, certainly, and I do follow a lot of artists on Twitter, so my timeline is filled with beautiful art, and often they talk about their own tips and experiences, do's and do nots.
Yeah.
And the other thing I see is that if you make art for a client, if you do a commission, as long as it's okay with the client, you can post that as well.
Yeah.
And that gives you content.
Yeah, follow some artists. A lot of artists have great Patreon accounts. So even if you sign up at usually the lower tiers, $1, $5, $10, they often have monthly chats and talks, where they go over their process and look at things in depth. So get out there and follow some artists. Donate to some Patreons, and get in that community. And then that's a great way to learn and observe what artists are doing.
Community is the best way to break into an industry, honestly.
Yes.
I was going to mention getting involved in the Dungeon Masters Guild community. We have a Facebook group meant for creators where you could post your portfolio and share with folks that you're looking to get into RPG illustration. Hashtag DMs Guild is really active, and there's a lot of folks who collaborate on projects, who are looking for artists to contribute their work. I will say I've done a few threads where I'll ask please suggest artists for this particular project or this particular look. And the one thing I've noticed is that some people will reply and I'll click on their profile and I can't figure out what's their art or where their portfolio is. So make sure your bio or the link on your social media page, make sure it's so easy to follow, where people can see your actual work and what your commission rates are. That would be my suggestion. Let's see. Caroline the Geek asks, if some of your characters were to cast this new spell, how would it manifest and what would it taste like? Ooh.
I think we've got Merlot for Celeste. Oh, but I guess it's your character.
Yeah, that's me. So I guess the character I played most recently, again on the Descent into Avernus game, I played a tiefling wizard named Malady, who was a very spicy individual. So I can see her being very reticent about casting this, because helping people was always when it came to her.
It could be to store for herself for later, though.
Yeah, and I think she grew up sort of poor in Baldur's Gate, so she really loves sugar and sugary things. So I think that desire to have would actually make the mushroom really, really sweet and sort of candy like.
Ooh. I was kind of thinking the same thing for my tiefling Mercy, who's probably my character folks are most familiar with. She's completely drained of color, so I imagine her death's flower look like little skinny white mushrooms, and they taste like marzipan.
Oyster mushrooms?
Yeah, like oyster mushrooms. Roughly marzipan oyster mushrooms.
Delicious.
What about you, Hannah?
No, I'm trying to think of which of my characters would cast this spell. I guess, growing plants and things. If my druid were to cast this spell, their name is Sorrel, so I feel like it might just kind of taste like garden leaves, a little bit like spicy arugula. And it would be very much, maybe it would kind of look like, or maybe it would look like a succulent, and it would have, I don't know, like a delicious taste, like you would imagine a cactus would taste like if it were yummy.
Some
People
people
eat
eat
cactus, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what a
Cactus
cactus
juice?
tastes like, but yeah. Yum.
Yum.
Grinning
Cactus.
Grig has a question that I feel like we'd have insight on. When you actually publish something on the DMs Guild, any suggestions on what to put on the summary page for the product and how to format it?
Mm. I mean, my suggestion would always be, find the artists that you really like and you love their style and their work, and then imitate sort of what they do in terms of putting their summaries out there, because everyone has such a unique style when they, advertise or, how you want to market things. But look at the people you respect and the people you think are successful in a way you want to be successful, and then see what they do, and then with that information, inform how you would build your
Yeah.
summary for your product.
I have two tips. One of them is know your audience. So if it's a player focused product, a DM focused product, or both, excite them. On my subclasses, I'm like, basically like, don't you want to play this awesome bard? Be this bard and shatter people with the power of your voice. Be super dramatic and yeah, excite them, get them to think about wanting to use it in their games. The second one is proofread it.
Yes.
Yes, should be exciting but professional, and well written, because you want to show off that your product is well written.
Yeah. Secret tip for people who maybe aren't great at editing, like you hired an editor for your product, right, but now you have to write this description and you're scared. There are a lot of resources out there that are really good at checking grammar and spelling and things for you. Grammarly is one of my favorites that I like to use. You can also just have it installed in your browser, so it can cover Google Docs and all kinds of awesome stuff. So
Or ask your editor to look at it.
Or ask your editor.
Yeah.
Just include that, build that into the rate as well, just right from the get-go, so you can just be sure that everything is good.
I mean, you all had some really amazing suggestions. The one thing I'll add is that folks really like seeing a preview of what they're going to purchase.
Yes.
So you do have the quick preview and full-size preview tools as part of Dungeon Masters Guild. But relatively recently, I think this year, we added a tool where you can upload images directly to our site and then embed those in your product description. So some folks like to take some of their favorite pages, layout pages, from their PDF and display those, which I think is a great instant way. No one has to press a button to see that preview if they're looking at your product.
And you can do links.
Yes.
So if you could link to your social media. Certainly, that's people.
So
know
we're
where to
actually
find you.
limited in
okay.
which sites things will link to. So
you can link to the other thing I was going to say is you could link to your other products. So if you do have another product out there, you can be like, silver bestseller. That gives you that cred.
Yeah, I find it really helpful if your title is part of a series to have little cover images of the rest of the series and make those links so you can go find the other things if you've enjoyed that particular title, or find the first thing in the series.
I should go update some of my summaries.
Yeah, that definitely got me with Anne Gregerson's the Monster Loot series she did. I just keep seeing the little covers and I was like, oh my god, they're all cool symbols. Oh my god, I need the whole collection. Oh my god, and then I bought them all. So it works. It absolutely works to link to all of your other stuff and show them all so nice and neatly.
Let's see. I think we have. Oh, well, it's a minute. Can we sneak in one more question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Our last question is Key Squared asks, going in the other direction, what would your favorite spell taste like as a tea?
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think.
Favorite spell.
I feel like maybe Friday can help me figure out how this would work, but
this is really meant for Friday.
Spell. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I love this is my favorite spell, but the one I was talking about, Echoes of the Past, I feel like it would be this really dark blend, definitely Puera, because that's aged. But then just a burst of something at the end, that's the vision. Maybe a little sweetness. A little bit of sugar or honey in it. A kind of citrusy burst.
I feel like I've talked about detect thoughts a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that would taste like maybe a smoked black tea, really smoky and mysterious, like you're peering through this fog of someone's thoughts.
See, my spell is a very unpopular choice. I really, really like the spell Counterspell. It does get a little wibbly wobbly sometimes, but I love me a wizard fight. I absolutely love it. And like when you can nail a counterspell moment, that can be so satisfying, or the counterspell thing. I love it. So what would that taste like? Because it's about countering magic. So
Oh.
I don't know. Friday, if you're here, yeah, what would be like the spell that can cancel
The
out or counter?
anti-spell.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that would taste like.
Oh, Friday's
But
like on top of this in the
yes.
chat.
Oh,
He just
Caroline's
like instantly
counterspell
knows.
is hot. Yeah, there have been some very flaming moments where I'm like, oh, I got that counterspell in. Like,
Oh, there's a lot of
feeling
love
so
for
good about it.
Counterspell in there.
Yay! Oh my gosh.
Counterspell tastes like salty popcorn, says the grinning gig. I feel like that's what it tastes like to everybody watching the Counterspell dialogue, because
Yeah, like
eating the popcorn.
Yeah, like, and then watching the counterspell chain going.
Everyone's saying it tastes like a palate cleanser.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like a sniff of coffee beans.
Yes, and the aperitif with a little licorice on there. Who knows? Ooh,
Counterspell. Ooh,
counterspell.
yeah.
Ooh, silver
wanna read
tip
that,
black tea,
Celeste?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, counterspell is sharp and spiced, but mirrored somehow. Silver-tipped black tea with coriander and cracked pepper. Sold,
So
please.
evocative.
I need it.
Mm.
Wow.
I feel
Yes.
like Friday this could be a great,
Yeah.
as long as they're under the open gaming license, you could
Mhm.
make spell themed teas. I would love to see
Ooh,
that.
that would be so fun. I would love
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
I
it
want
is 12:02. This was a really fun community. I loved talking about spellcasting with all of you.
Yes.
Should we go backwards order and do some outros? Starting with
Ah.
Hannah?
Oh, that's me. I am Hannah Rose, Wild Rose Mage on the internet. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. The Instagram is like 50% cat pictures, so if you're into that. And I do writing, editing, and occasional streaming of Dungeons and Dragons and nerdy things. Some of my recent stuff on DM's Guild includes Ancestry and Culture and Encounters and Theros. Hi, HD Paladin.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, reverse order. Hello, it is me, Celeste Konowich. I am a designer out there in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, including one of your DM's Guild adepts, along with Hannah. So the best way to see everything I'm doing, what I'm streaming, what I'm writing, is to follow me on Twitter at ckonowich, or check out the full catalog of my work at celestekonowich.com. I am also available for consults via my Ko-Fi. So if you want advice on how to start a D&D podcast, how to glow up a D&D podcast, how to get into writing, help designing something, I am here, and you can book me directly through my Ko-Fi, and all those links are on my my Twitter page and my website. So let's chat. Let's get something off the ground.
Yeah.
This
Celeste
summer
has so much knowledge and great advice.
Snag them wisdoms.
Snag them now before they raise their rates, because they should raise their rates.
I know I should. I know. People keep telling me, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, all right, but get them now before I raise those rates.
And I am Lisa Penrose, the good witch of this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Lisa Penrose. You can also find me, same handle, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm the brand manager of Dungeon Masters Guild. When I'm not shepherding other creators, I tell stories myself. So give me a follow if you're interested in things RPGs, witchy things, or just gentle, fun games and good vibes. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. For this month's D&D community, we are every second Friday of the month here on twitch.tv/Lisa Penrose. So we will see you all in September.
Wow.
Bye, everybody.